This week on Motorhead Garage, Brian and John get another look at the cutting abilities of the KMT waterjet system. And later on, learn about a new line of suspension components and much more. Next on Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting.
Welcome to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. Well, you know, when it's all about productivity, we brought in Chris from Multicam. Chris, you're an expert. I'm talking about productivity, man. In my industry, automotive, time's money. We work on flat rate. We get paid for what we do. What's my choices? What's going to make me productive with this machine?
Anytime you talk about productivity and you want to grow or expand your business, it's going to come down to two things. How do I maximize my production? How do I maximize my profitability? Profitability is what you're after as a business owner.
Sure.
Right? So that's where these decisions are going to come into play. So as we get started here on the cut, let me explain some of the differences between 60,000, 90,000 PSI, and what will get you that profitability that you're after.
Now we're going to cut a different material. We're going to start with some stainless steel. We'll get that cutting, and then we're going to move over to copper. So we know it's versatile, but let's talk about productivity. What's the difference between the 90,000 PSI and the 60,000 PSI? What's that going to do for me as a business owner?
So when you go to a higher pressure, it allows you to go faster. Faster cut equals more productivity. So you're going to wind up getting more parts out per hour, more parts out per day, and that's what makes you more productive and more profitable.
Now we start talking about a big chunk of metal like that. I mean, this makes a big difference. It's going to cut a lot slower, is it not?
Right, absolutely. As you go thicker in material, you have to travel slower to allow that cut to get to the bottom of the material, right?
Right.
So that water is an abrasive process. It's using garnet to slowly erode, basically, on something that thick. It's going to erode that material through to the bottom of the cut.
Now also that 90,000 PSI, I'm going to save on material, aren't I?
Not just with the 90,000, but how you use your software and what system you have.
Okay.
So that's where we at Multicam come into play for sure. You're going to design your system around what the size of material that you're using, and you're going to use the software to nest those parts together, just like you'd have two parts to nest together.
Right.
Versus if you did two parts that were side by side, you're going to waste a lot more material if you can't nest it.
And also speed is time. I mean, you talked that race car analogy.
Your speed analogy is great, actually. When you think about the advancements of engines, even, right? Think about just 5 years ago and the advancements of engines. This is an engine, right? So we've gone from 60,000 PSI to 90,000 PSI. We've also gone to where our maintenance cycles are far, far longer, right? It's like an oil change. You don't have to change your oil near as often in these newer engines, okay? And then on top of that, the race car itself, that's the Multicam piece, right? So that's how fast it's going to move, how fast it's going to accelerate. We spend a lot of time studying the different motors, drives, computer systems, and nesting software is going to get you the productivity you need.
And that's going to make it move quicker to make the cuts where it needs to make. Maybe it's in a place it's not cutting. It has to get over there quicker.
Yeah, that's actually called cut-to-cut cycle time.
Wow.
Right? So, and your software is critical to that, and your system has to be capable of moving to accelerate to those speeds to get to the next cut and get going.
Well, it's the fastest water jet. There's no doubt about that. What about that velocity, man? We were talking about Mach 1, Mach 2. Very, very interesting. I mean, when we're cutting, we need that fine strain to do it.
The speed of that water coming out the end of that nozzle is actually Mach 2.
Whoa.
Right? Twice the speed of sound. When you transition to 90,000 PSI, you're 3 times the speed of sound. Now, amazing.
Yeah, now we got through with the stainless. I mean, that's no problem whatsoever. Now we can just switch gears in a matter of minutes, right? We can just reprogram this thing. What are we going to cut next?
Right there, we got copper. There's no elaborate tool change. I didn't have to go into a different style head. I didn't have to go into a different size orifice even. I went straight into the different material. And the computer, I just said, I'm gonna go cut some copper.
Now I cut some stainless steel with my bandsaw. Well, let me tell you, I can't afford the blades. That's impossible. I mean, that thing cut through it like butter. And you know what?
Right.
You can do it over and over again.
Stainless steel is very, very hard. Copper is actually soft, right? So boom, right through the bandsaw. You have other problems with it getting gummy. It's so soft. Stainless is so hard that you're going to wear your tools out. Waterjet actually doesn't care. Put the material in front of it, that abrasive process is going to cut right through that material, whether it's thin or thick.
Now the cool thing is the time. Your analogy on my numbers. You can cut the 1 through 9 that same time you cut the 1 through 6 just by boosting the motor and the performance of the system.
That's exactly right, exactly right. So 90,000 PSI, what that's going to allow you to do is cut more product in the same amount of time. So what you're seeing here is actually the same exact amount of time to cut what you see on the 60,000. Cut the 90,000 PSI this much larger. It's actually 50% more. 50% more product at the same amount of time.
That's amazing. You know, this thing cuts everything, even the thick steel. I mean, it rips right through it. What's your website? Where can we find you?
Multicam.com. You can also find information on the KMT waterjet pumps at kmtwaterjet.com.
Well, Chris, Brian Lowens, he can only cut up to 6, so I'm going to teach him to cut a little bit further. You guys stick around. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, is being brought to you by AP Laser, leading the way. Thread Wizard, the world's fastest bolt cleaner. Exalted Coating Systems, we paint winners. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. You know, in today's world, modern performance cars and sports cars are great handlers. They're drivers, they're fun to whip around. But they also suffer the same fate as every other performance car, and the fact that they're designed by committee and factories. But companies like T-Demand have come up with products and components that can transform what's already a good car into something great. Sam, with T-Demand, we have a table full of what I would consider automotive sculpture. Man, you got to tell me about the product line here that T-Demand's developed.
Hey, thank you very much. We're going to start off over here with some of our custom control arms. These are all designed and manufactured in Japan. Some of the things that stand out versus other arms that are on the market, they're all measured and equal in length, so you can set a perfect alignment.
Nice.
You know, we use our solid pillow mounts for the joints, and we have our special sleeves that cover that to protect it from rust.
That's something I've honestly never seen before. It's a tight rubberized sleeve that's around that joint that is not, it's going to provide literal physical protection.
Right, and it really helps keeping the dirt out and moisture and all that, you know, so you don't have to worry about it rusting out.
Very, very cool. I mean, the quality of construction on these things is incredible. The welding, the fabrication. Show me this short knuckle here, which I think is a great product.
This is what we call our special type short knuckle. It's shortened and it also has camber in it in a negative direction. We take the OEM knuckle and we process it. You could do 1 millimeter increments on this, and you can add as much camber as you want, which will fit the tire and the wheel.
And this one you're holding, what is the application here?
This is for a 2018 Lexus LC500. We'll be debuting at SEMA this year.
That's the other crazy thing about what you guys are doing here is, you know, the products we're talking about are not for stuff that was built 20 years ago. You guys are improving cars that are like on the road, coming out of factories like today.
Right, right. Yeah, as soon as we get these cars from the dealer, we're making everything for it. And we do also have applications for older cars as well.
So talk to me here. We got a great set of coilover shocks and strut program going on. What am I looking at?
This is our Pro Damper coilover system. This is for a 2016 Lexus GS. The nice thing about our coilover, it's not an off-the-shelf system. It starts off as a base system, and it comes with up to 20K spring rates. You can do upgrades on it. Spring rates go anywhere from 4K up to 80K. We have upgradable pistons inside the shock that are specially designed to handle the high spring rates. You know?
So if you get somebody that wants to have a more sporty feeling drive, or if you want someone that wants to go hardcore like a track day car, you guys can meet all those demands.
Exactly, exactly.
You know, Sam, we've seen a lot of great suspension components, but man, I am looking at some man-sized brakes here. What's going on here?
Thank you very much. This is our super slim brake system. It's got a 6-piston caliper with a 380 millimeter rotor. The nice thing about this brake system is with this you can run like a low offset wheel or a super low offset. Normally with the traditional big brake kit, you'd have to run a high disc wheel to clear the brakes.
Yeah, this is packaged amazingly nice. And again, it's billet machine. The thing is gorgeous. Not only are we talking about static suspension components like our coilovers and stuff like that, also active suspension. You guys are involved in air too.
Yeah, we just recently came out with our digital air suspension controller, and we have another model we'll be debuting at SEMA this year. So,
like any good suspension system, the stuff's got to be set up correctly, and you're even providing customers an option to get that job right as well.
Yeah, we have what we call our Camber Tester Pro. You can set your camber and check the readings on it before you put it on the alignment rack, so it makes it a little bit easier, you know, to set everything up.
So we have two last people for you to meet. We have Mats, who's the owner of Central Pine, and Takashi, who is the owner of T-Demand. Come on over, fellas. So, Takashi, a question for you. What would you like to build next in the USA?
これからどうしていきたいですか、USA では。
USA を、どうしていきたいっていうよりも、名前の通り T ディメンドっていうのは需要っていう意味で、求められてきたことを、叶えたいっていう思いで今までやってきてるんで、いろんなことをアメリカの人も例えば自分のない車を作ってほしいとか、こういうパーツないかなっていうのを、USA ディーラーの方にいろいろ話を上げてもらって、それを製品につなげられたらいいなって思ってます。
Well, thank you so much for coming into Motorhead Garage. It's been great to check out T-Demand's product line, and we'll be back with more Motorhead Garage right after this.
Now, whether you drive a light-duty diesel or a heavy-duty diesel like the one behind us, why not protect it? This week's ZMAX Minute's all about diesels and ZMAX.
And ZMAX helps diesels by cleaning out the deposits and being able to soak into the metal to protect that diesel investment.
Now, my diesel, I'm going to go right into the diesel engine oil. I can use that product?
You can use this on the light duties right here off the shelf. If you've got a little bit more heavy duty type diesel, you can use this, but you're probably going to want to apply just a little bit more to take care of the about 5-to-1 ratio or so. We'll worry about the numbers, but really this right off the shelf will take care of your light duty and keep away one of the scary terms in all of diesel, stiction.
Oh, we all heard of stiction. Matter of fact, we got two injectors down here, and you can actually see this is a brand new one, or it's not even a new one, it's just a treated one that's been run with ZMAX. I mean, look at the difference. And then this one right here, it's got stiction in it, man. Once that fails, you start getting an engine misfire, you're gonna have problems. I mean, I can probably prevent that with ZMAX.
You can prevent that with ZMAX, and even if you get it to where it's almost unpreventable, I'd still put a little bit of ZMAX in there and see if maybe ZMAX can take care of it before you have to spend $400 for another one of those, but you want to make sure that you never even get close to there. Get ZMAX, put it in your diesel, and you'll run those miles oh so much smoother.
Yeah, you want to avoid stiction. Matter of fact, you want to avoid a big repair bill because this is a big job. I mean, we're talking about injector pumps and injectors. All this stuff's driven by oil, so go ahead and get you some ZMAX. Pour it into your diesel. Keep your oil and fuel systems in tip-top shape. You stick around. There's plenty more of Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Now, one of the first things I do when I'm buying an old car or even a late model car, I check underneath for rust. Mechanical issues, no problem. Rust, I'm out. Well, no worries anymore. We have with us Joe. Joe from New Hampshire Oil Undercoating. Tell us about the rust and what's going on and your company.
Rust is like a cancer. It's a big problem in the Northeast. It is a problem that is evasive, and salt is the biggest contributing factor.
Which is getting under there and rusting the whole chassis out.
We started our business in a garage out in a dirt road, 1.5 miles in any direction.
And tell us a little about your product.
So the product is pretty low technology. It's a very simple concept. We, unlike the conventional undercoating, don't trap the moisture and the oxygen in there. Oil will displace the moisture, and it will draw it away from the base metal. It'll cut off the oxygen. Take either of those out of the equation and you stop oxidation. We also put in a green corrosion inhibitor so we can fight it on a chemical level. 90% of how this works is the physical presence of the product on the surface, and eliminating oxygen stops the process. And as long as you have product on, you kind of hold the rust at bay.
Well, how can you apply it?
We can apply it several ways. We sell do-it-yourself kits. We sell equipment that's airless, air-assisted, quick disconnect carbide tip. We have a basic kit. You can get into it for about $65, and you can apply the product yourself.
Now, your son Joey, he's going to apply it for us over there, but he's just going to use this gun. He's going to use the actual product itself in black.
He's going to use back to black. It is the same as our clear. The clear and the black, same as that product. The black is for cosmetic purposes. It has a biodegradable carbide tint to it.
And that's great. Just hook up air and shoot it. Let's take a look at Joey. He's in action doing it right now.
It's a pretty easy process. The surface should be clean and dry. You just want to put a consistent, even coat on the whole underneath of the vehicle, staying away from the exhaust and any other parts that get really hot. 2 or 3 passes will get a nice, even, consistent coat on the rust. It's a pretty easy process. You can do it in a garage or your driveway, or if you have ramps to put your truck up on, that all works. We have 2 different types of oil. We have clear and we have black. Black is strictly for cosmetic purposes. There's no difference between them besides the cosmetic aspect. You would use clear normally on newer vehicles that have no pre-existing rust, and you would use black on something that has rust already present on the underneath of the vehicle. The black will make the underneath of the truck look like a new vehicle.
Well, Joey made short work of that. You know, and I'm sure glad that he used a mask and safety glasses as well.
He did. It's a good idea anytime you breathe something in other than oxygen. But our product is a mineral oil base. It's a non-hazardous, environmentally friendly, no drip product.
Now, Joey proved to us that a do-it-yourselfer can do it. What about, I don't want to mess with this stuff, can I take it to a professional and get it done?
Yes, currently we have close to 100 dealers that offer the service and our product. They come into our facility, we train them, we sell them the product, the equipment, ongoing training. It's a great way for a mechanic not just to be reactive but proactive.
Absolutely. Now, he also had it right there on the floor. What about like under a car? There's a lot of nooks and crannies and frames. I mean, do you have some products we could get into those
We do,
areas?
and this is typically what you'd find a dealer offering. This is a high-pressure air-assisted airless system. Fits in a 55-gallon drum. These are all quick disconnect carbide tip, so you could go from a 6-inch fan direct spray to a flexible 360-degree wand, all high pressure. Or you can get into this. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a cup gun. That's a carbide tip 45-degree wand.
That's going to lay it on there.
Yep.
And you also have these little things you can get into the frame as well.
Yeah, we actually make our own tools. So this is brake line. You can see brazed at the end, bent, and we use that to get on the back side of a dump truck.
Well, awesome, awesome. Well, folks, there's $3 billion annually in rust repairs. So, Joe, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this stuff and go coat mine. You take a short break. We'll be back with more Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, is being brought to you by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. Mobile Environmental Solutions, the leading portable mobile paint booth. Rod End Supply, we don't just sell them, we race them. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. You know, in today's world, vehicles get more complicated and technologically advanced every day. And while there are some downsides to that, there's one huge upside. Anything built after 1996 is equipped with what's called OBD2. OBD2 allows you to scan the codes of a vehicle to find out what's wrong with it. Essentially, the car is going to tell you what's wrong with itself. Now, I have Vitae here from VAR Diagnostics. Vitae, you've taken this concept to a whole new level with your app, and I'd love you to tell me about it.
Well, we're just coming out with a new company named VR Diagnostics that we worked on production over 2.5 years. And what we have here so far today of a new way of technology of doing vehicles. We want to first start off and showing you our first page on this particular app, where we'll put your home page in, your password, and your login. With that particular, that's shown on the next page, you'll also leave with your first name, last name, your email address, your password, and re-enter your password with the
Yeah, like any other app, I'm logging in, I'm getting ready to use this thing, which, you know, very standard issue setup, 2.5 years of your life went into a lot of really cool technology, which I believe starts right here.
Exactly. Therefore, we'll also have you put your select car in, your brand, your year, your make, and your model. And once that is done, we'll also leave you where you can have the new feature that we have. It's called Bluetooth Reader. I'm pretty sure some people out here seen something similar like these before. It will also show that we have our homepage that's a diagnostic test. And on our diagnostic test, we also have your diagnostic history, find your auto parts store, or your engine scan.
So here's where the genius comes in, right? So I'm going to use my scan tool, I'm going to plug it in, and this is going to go through and scan the codes. It's going to find the problem.
Exactly.
But we're not stopping there.
No.
You're actually going to show me what's wrong with the vehicle, and then you're going to show me where I can go get the parts.
Exactly. That's going to knock you off your feet right now.
This is where it gets awesome. So the next screen, you're basically telling me what the problem is, right?
Exactly. We have also our Ford F-150 behind us. If we have a diagram of that particular right here, therefore we will see an O2 sensor part that's found on this particular vehicle. Now, we does not want to leave out that the app will have the concept and have the capability where the engine can come out of your car on a 360 animation version and show you the best location on your part on that particular engine.
So rather than just the 2D schematic, I'd actually be able to look and see a rotating version of the engine to find out exactly where this O2 sensor belongs.
Exactly how that
Wow.
Brian.
So at the bottom of this page, I can see buy parts and stores. So if I click onto the next screen,
Exactly.
this is, so I have options here.
Exactly. We have a way we can buy that part. We can buy that part new or used by loading that part in our cart. Once we done that, we'll also go to our following page, give you the option where you can go pick what other parts store you want to purchase that part from.
Yeah, so my car has now told me what's wrong with it, and now it's telling me where to go buy the parts to fix it.
Exactly.
But now if I want to buy it, I can actually buy it through the app.
Exactly. Therefore, it's leaving you the options with your debit or credit card to put your information in, and therefore leaving you with a confirmation number, proving that you purchased that part.
So you spent 2.5 years developing this thing, man. You're a startup company, and you're open to investors, I understand.
Most definitely that we are, because we're leaving a window open for manufacturers, VCs, and potential investors. The goal for VL Diagnostics, we want to see VL Diagnostics put into cars made for the production company. Therefore, we'll make it that more simple to diagnose your vehicle.
All you need to do is figure out a way to get the car to drive itself to the parts store, then you really have the whole thing covered. I mean,
I think if we can do that, that would handle our problem. But it's the most definitely an efficient way or technology where we're going to.
No, Vitae, this is a very, very interesting product. I think it solves a lot of problems, and it's going to help a lot of people, whether you're an enthusiast that wants to fix their own car at home or a garage operator. This is amazing stuff. Vitae, VAR Diagnostics, you're changing the way people can do the work on their car or get their car diagnosed. So that's all the time we have for today at Motorhead Garage. We're going to be back next week with more cool stuff. If you have a cool product you'd like to see on the show, email Jeff@masterstv.com. Maybe you'll find yourself here at the Motorhead Garage Studios. Vitae, let's go diagnose some stuff.
No, that'll work.
Thanks, man.
All right.